Moving on to example 2, we have ourselves a right cylinder. Anybody in the room know the difference between a prism and a cylinder? So cylinders are what?
Curved.
Cylinders have curved bases. Prisms have straight edge bases. That's it. The volume formula for a prism, or sorry, for a cylinder, volume of a cylinder, let me write it up here, cylinder, volume equals that. Look familiar?
Yep.
Every single prism and cylinder has the exact same volume formula. You find the area of the base, you multiply by the height, you circle your answer. That's all you got to do. The difference in each of these problems is what type of shape is the base. That creates a different area formula based on the shape that the base is. In this case, what is the base?
Circle.
A circle. So I'm going to start off by drawing my base. The dimension of the base I need for a circle is just the radius, which they've told me is 10 feet. If they happen to give you a diameter instead of a radius, write the radius in instead of the diameter. You need the radius, that's all you need. So if they said diameter is 20 feet, if they put it all the way across, said 20 feet, you'd put this picture, you'd put it 10 feet. All right? Always draw your circle with just a radius, that's all you need for circles. What's the area formula for a circle? Pi r squared. How many people, show of hands, be honest, knew that pi r squared was the area formula for a circle before Emma said pi r squared? Okay. Those of you fully raising your hands, good job. Those of you half raising your hands, you didn't know it. Those of you didn't raise your hand at all, you didn't know it either. So if you don't know a formula, which is going to happen sometimes, okay, I call this my persistence technique for memorization. Here's my persistence technique for memorizing things. If you don't know what something is and you look it up, you write it down. So the area formula for a circle, area is equal to pi r squared. And if you keep writing it down again and again and again and again, at some point you're going to get so annoyed with having to write this thing down, your brain will just memorize it. And then it'll be there forever. Okay? You learned that formula in 6th grade. You're in 9th grade now. You should know it by now. So, if you didn't know it by now, use the persistence technique. Write it down. You look it up, you write it down, you look it up, you write it down. Eventually, like, I hate looking it up and writing it down. I want to stop doing that. Your brain will just say, well, just memorize it, and then it's in there. Works every time, I promise. So, again, if you have to look it up, write it down. So, the pi, we're going to use 3.14 to approximate pi. So 3.14 is pi. R squared, if r is some friendly number like 10, what's 10 squared? 100, right? So don't feel like you have to write down 10 squared. You can square 10 in your head. If the radius was 7.938, anybody know what 7.938 squared is? Me neither. So I'd probably I'd write 7.938 squared, then punch it in a calculator. All right? So if I multiply that out, 3.14 times 100 is 314, and that's going to be square feet. So the area of the base is 314 square feet approximately. Again, pi isn't exactly 3.14, but it's close enough. This is the circular base. This is its identical twin. The distance between the two identical twin bases is 12 feet, so height is 12 feet. That's how you find height every time. If a cylinder sits on its side, the height's going to be sideways. It's up and down, it's going to be up and down. How far apart are the circles, that's all the height is. And the volume is simply the area of the base, 314 square feet, times the height, 12 feet. Which is 3,768 cubic feet. My persistence technique worked out on that one. Earlier today when I taught the problem, it was 3,768 cubic feet. I wrote it down. I was annoyed I had to write it down, and I remembered it. So there you go.
I just did the
There's the persistent technique in action. What, you did it by hand?
Yeah.
Did you get the same answer? Isn't that crazy? All right, so 3,768. By all means, use a calculator if necessary, but use your brain more. It's better, but calculator as necessary to calculate. Okay, so if I take this right prism and I slant it, make it oblique, slant it that way. All right. Again, this is my slant height. Okay. If I'm dealing with volume, slant height doesn't matter. What matters is the perpendicular height and what type of shape the base is. So, the base is a circle, so I draw a circle with radius 10 feet. I remember the area formula now, pi r squared, so pi is 3.14, r squared, 10 squared is 100. So the area of the base ends up being 314 square feet. The perpendicular height of our prism is 12 feet. Circle 1 to circle 2 is 12 feet up and down. So h equals 12 feet. Volume equals area of base times height. So the volume is going to be 3,768 cubic feet. Again, each and every problem on your homework should look like this. I want to see the picture of two-dimensional base drawn. I want to see where you calculated the area of the base. I want to see where you found the height and where you multiplied those two numbers to get the volume. Each time, every problem is going to be done similarly to the problem before.